Thank you for tuning in to Two Ladies in Conversation. I'm here with my co-host, Joanne James, and our special guest for today, Denise Roberts, Decluttering by Denise. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Francina.
So we had a great conversation before we got on the set about business and putting a structure in place and having, we'll call it boundaries. So we'll call this episode Boundaries. Let's discuss it. When you first start your business, you have an idea, and then you realize what things that you resonate with you, what morals and things you would like, the perfect client, and then you start to outline how you want your business to go. This is the perfect time to, even if you are years in the business or if you're starting out, to take a step back and really look at what you want and what kind of clientele you want.
Yes.
So then you can now say, these are the rules I'm going to have going forward, and I will not compromise my rules. Because what happens when you compromise, it changes everything. The last thing that we would want is for people to get out of business because they've lost their passion and their love for it. We got into business because we love it,
Yes.
and so it's the time to do things how we want to, and we set those rules, right?
Absolutely. So when you start a business, I think one of the key things is, yes, you've decided who your demographic group is going to be, etc. And once you've gotten past all of that, yes, policies and procedures are key in order to keep your sanity so that you're not being, as I like the term, being pushed around from pillar to post because other people are dictating how you run your business. That's really what the bottom line is. If you don't have those
Yes.
policies and procedures in place in terms of how you handle your business, how you manage clients and customers, and how you just basically run the business, then yeah, you're going to run into a problem and you will lose passion and interest in your business quite quickly.
And you
Yes.
can't service your client properly. So
Right.
can you imagine having to go into someone's home or office space
Right.
and saying, not looking at what you have to work on, just going, okay, I'll just start. Well, how can you start if you haven't looked at what you have to do?
Right.
No different from doing an assessment of a client coming in. Okay, let's just
Yes.
start working out. You can't just start an exercise without knowing at what stage the person's at. I can't suggest a product to someone with not knowing what type of skin they have, what issues they're having.
Right.
So we all need at least a template or a starting point so we can service someone properly.
So for an
Yes.
example of that would be when a client comes up those stairs or comes through the door, or potential client, there is a process that we have for each person. There's no one who can take our services unless they do a health questionnaire first and then an assessment. Those are the two. If you're not
Yes.
doing it, we can't have you on board. Our health questionnaire helps us to determine whether that person should be here in this facility, or do they need to see their doctor or physiotherapist because they have some ongoing issue that they've not addressed with a medical professional.
Right.
We don't want to work with that individual because we could technically we could hurt them
Right.
without knowing. So the health
course,
questionnaire
of course.
sets that tone so that we have an idea of who we are working with and then what we may do with them. The assessment now gives us an idea of what is the starting point for these individuals. Where are they weak, where are they strong, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've had at least one or two people walk up the stair and say, well, I don't want to fill that out. You don't need to know that kind of information about me.
Right.
So of course we look at them as though they have horns growing out of their heads because we're like, this makes no sense.
Right.
We'll explain ourselves to them and help them understand why this is a process, why you have to follow that. And actually inevitably they left.
Right. They're not
So
the right person.
what did we do? We protected ourselves as well as we protected that individual because we knew that if we had designed something for them, how do we know what we're doing? So
Exactly.
we're quite happy with our process, even if it means turning away an individual.
Oh,
and not making that money.
definitely. I've actually gotten really good at assessing things just from a phone call because I want clients who want what I do and they're reaching out to me, please come and help me get this clutter out, clear the space, whatever. And just from the questions that some people ask, I can already see that it's not my ideal client.
Right.
And because I know I've gone into situations where I get there and they're telling me what to do. It's like, you don't need to tell me what to do.
Right.
You know, you don't stand over your plumber and say, put that drain and put this pipe and tighten here and there, you know?
Exactly.
And there's some people who actually try to get me to tell me how to organize things. And with me, it's because it's such a natural thing for me. They don't have to be there like 95% of the time. To me, it's obvious without telling them that it's what needs to be got rid of and what needs to stay. So once I do the decluttering and I organize everything and I leave the pile there, they come and it's like, oh yeah, get rid of that. You know, like it's so obvious. But then there's other ones, just right on, hands on. It's too much.
Right.
So you just set the
It's just
rules,
too
set
much.
your expectations. You know, it's okay
Yeah.
to say to a client or a potential client, you know, I can be in this space free. I don't need anyone around. You can
Right.
do something else in another room. Or to say to a client in your industry, I can't service you if I don't have a good understanding, because the last thing I
Yes,
want is for you
yes.
to perhaps collapse or something happen here, or you know, I mean, can you imagine how it'll impact your staff as well to have someone get injured because they chose not to
Do an
fill out a
assessment
form?
or do a form. Right.
So it's, you have to think about yourself and your brand as well. You are your brand. So the last thing you need is for someone to go out speaking about what you did or what you did not do.
Right.
And how you wavered just because they said so.
Yes.
And now they're in control of your business.
And I need people to, my ideal clients trust me. So they know that they can leave me to do what I do. And, you know, like some people think I'm going to throw things out or just like control or whatever, you know, but it's like, and then other ones understand that I'm going to come in and make things better for them.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
So you really have to.
And the thing is too, sorry, when they're like that, it's like they don't really want me to come in and do it.
They don't
There's a
understand the
resistance,
service.
right?
They don't understand
right?
the service.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't. Some people they don't want to change. They just don't want to. Some people, it's like, I know this is a problem. I'm just too busy. I need help with it. I need you to get on top of it for me. They can easily do it themselves, but just don't have time. And there's other people, they want it to stay this way. So every time you move something, have you ever seen the shows with the hoarders?
Yes, exactly.
And the resistance?
And they don't want to
Yes.
let go of
Right.
anything.
So that's not my ideal
Yeah.
client.
Right.
Exactly.
So let's talk about, in terms of ideal clients, family and friends. Are they the ideal client?
No, they're not.
And sometimes, I think once you recognize that some family members are, and they understand it's business, and everyone's in business to make money and grow. But if there is that every time you have a conversation with them, oh, can I get a family and friend discount?
Right,
Can I
right,
get a family
right,
discount?
right.
I mean, what we're providing you is a great service. There's
Or
value to
they
that,
have me
right?
come over just to visit, and we just happen to get to their closet
No.
or something,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
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 And say,
you're
no, this is
here."
not part of the visit.
And that happens. Well, you know, what kind of exercises should I do for my stomach? Well, I'm quite frankly, I don't know what you should do for your stomach because I really don't know what your health condition is. Do you have a bad back? Is your pelvic floor?
Good for
You just
you.
had surgery? Like, what do you want me to do? So
Right.
I've just gotten into the habit of actually not providing services to them, and I think they know better not to ask because
Right.
I've always found that as well that when you provide something for free, it's not valued.
It's
The
true.
very
likelihood
true.
of them actually doing the exercises that you've given them
Yes.
is next to non-existent. Why? Because you didn't pay for it.
Right.
And I heard
Right.
that earlier this week, actually, say the minute you start putting a dollar value on your services, is they people all of a sudden pay attention.
And they or
Yes.
they disappear.
And they put because they put a
They
value to
disappear.
it,
Yes,
right?
yes,
You put it
yeah.
for free, they
And they
won't
pay
attend,
attention.
or
Yes.
they won't attend the event. But the minute you charge $5, it must be something because
Yeah.
you have to pay for it.
Isn't that something? Yes.
So that's why
true
when you
too.
set out your services, you have to set it out very clean, very clear, and anything above that, there is a cost.
And the thing is, too, I have done it sometimes in the past for friends. And I go back the next week, they're all over the place again. If they had paid for it, it probably would still be
yeah.
organized,
Yeah,
right?
and
Yes.
that's disrespect for your time,
Yeah.
the time that you took to do that.
Yeah.
You
Didn't care.
So I guess when people are considering a service that there's, whatever the service is, that is something that they really should think about before they're asked by their family members to do anything or friends. they need to set that policy up front. And
Yes.
they've got to follow through with it in their heads and just say, look, this is my fee for this service. And,
And this is what I expect of you as a client.
yeah, like
Or
you're
maybe
not a
ask them to
client.
trade something. I'll do it for you if you do this for
Well,
me.
you know what?
You know?
Barter,
Bartering
yeah.
doesn't
Yes.
hurt, you know, and that might make them rethink that as well.
Right,
So, yeah.
right. Because if they're asking you to do something for free, it's like, well, why should I? What do you want to do for free for me? And maybe
And
that'll get
sometimes
the
you have
light
to-
bulb,
You
right?
have to be that practical with people it's for them to understand.
Exactly.
So the bottom line is set your boundaries. You need to set your boundaries for yourself, for your business, provide a proper service for your client and
Yes.
protect even your support staff.
Right.
Once you set these rules, I mean, even to how does it look at your support staff if you're changing your rules every day?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it's a problem. It
Right?
becomes a problem.
You
because
start
then-
getting confused on what your business is about.
Yes.
You lose sight. Your
Yes.
staff was wondering, what is up with this? She keeps changing things depending on who it is. You have to keep things consistent, just like you said, for your sanity and for the sake of your business.
Make everything clear.
Right.
Make everything clear. I had this client, and we made all the arrangements for how long I was going to be there, and then right near the end, it's like, "Can you help me with something, please?" And it's like, "Okay," and I didn't realize it was going to be another 45 minutes of my free time. You know, so make that clear too.
Yeah.
I'm here
Anything
from
above
1
and
to
beyond,
4.
Yeah, anything above and beyond that is an extra $45, $75, $100
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
And they'll rethink whether they want to.
Yes.
Then they'll realize how much they don't need it, right? If
Yes.
they do
Exactly.
this,
I
if
mean,
they don't need
and
it. Yeah.
I'll give an example similar to that too. Sometimes our services are for like an hour, 55 minutes, and the client comes in 10, 15, 20 minutes late.
Right.
And in the past, the expectation was, well, can't you go over the 10, 15, 20 minutes? And our policy is, if you're late, whatever time is left of your session, that is what you get.
Good for
That's
you.
fair.
You paid
Yes.
from this time to
Yes.
this time. We're not going to delay someone else's
Right.
session.
Who comes on
because you were
time.
And
late.
respect your time too, because
Absolutely.
that just makes you end up being here later in the day too.
Absolutely.
That happens in a lot of doctors' offices that you don't pay for, right? Like your 10 o'clock appointment, you finally get in at 11:30.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And the other is also when they miss appointments. And you need to have a policy around that too. Whether they
Yes.
forgot it.
Cancellations or
Yeah.
Yes,
and we
cancellation
just
fee.
call them late cancellations. And I always let them know, regardless of the reason for why you missed that appointment, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
We will have to charge you for that.
Yes.
Because people have all kinds of
Yes.
reasons why they miss, very legitimate reasons and sometimes not legitimate reasons. But I'm not there to judge the reason. You just didn't
the
make
policy is 24 to
Yes.
48 hours,
Yes.
regardless of what
Yes.
industry you're in.
it. And you'd be surprised. They always make it.
Right.
And
Right.
they respect it. They'll respect the,
Yeah.
okay, I have to call
Yeah.
24 to 48 hours. I've done that. I won't be charged.
Right.
Set the expectation. And it's about, okay, so I guess the next thing we can always talk about in a future episode is what expectations, what's right, what's wrong. I think that's one thing. You know, if some people are uncomfortable, unsure what boundaries to set, and what do you do when if you're in the crosshairs of what to do with your boundaries.
Right.
So thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.